person. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I don't really care for this person very much, but what they said right there, boom, I'm rocking with that.
The way people today feel like they say the most horrendous things, and sometimes it gets me down.
What you're noticing is a brazen cultural shift that is not unfamiliar if you were to read something maybe like Facing History and Ourselves. And it's real scary. I mean, you just being you and noticing this stuff is huge, actually. Pointing it out as much as possible, and whenever you see it, even better. And thank you for that. You know, these people are fucking around and finding out, and unfortunately what they're finding out is there are no consequences for their racism and sexism, pretty much. Their hatred is just totally validated because ignorant people are feeling real powerful. Why? Because the GOP are recruiting the ignorant into their hate group.
Oh, you serious?
And they paint the educated as elite to harness all this ignorance into their own power. There are caravans of Mexicans coming to take your jobs and women. Was a real emergency at one point when certain Republicans needed votes. It was very easy to sell a bunch of sell that to a bunch of struggling white people who needed a scapegoat. It's always that way. Trust me, Jews are familiar with this shit. An invented problem that only they can solve, so you must give them power to solve it. So where are all the caravans? Where did they go? As soon as they didn't need them anymore, they all of a sudden they disappeared. What do you know? Once they got Trump the power he and the GOP wanted, they could go back to not existing. Right. Where's the wall we needed so badly? That wall that they raised millions and millions and millions of dollars for that was partially constructed and then left undone. It's just all bullshit to get the GOP in power so they can do what? Fucking nothing. The one thing that all these people in the GOP have in common, all these politicians, is that they've completely forgotten to even pretend to serve their constituents. No part of what they do is serving the people they represent. It's just bizarre. So what can they do with all that power? Take women's rights away. Take LGBTQ rights away. Call their anti-trans rhetoric protecting children, and on and on and on. I mean, Madonna me. Keep up the good fight, the fight of education, information, caring about what is true. You are in a very conspiracy-heavy part of Cali, by the way, but just know you are extremely not alone. Click on the link in my bio to subscribe or follow or click the plus sign or however it works because it keeps...
I want to hear that, guys.
Trump era, I've started to realize that many of my friends feel they could say the most just horrible things. I'm Mexican, and when the whole border thing was going on, I literally had somebody say to me at one point, well, you're not that kind of Mexican. Just blew my mind, you know?
Yeah.
I don't speak Spanish. Like I said, I grew up in suburban Orange County. And then some of my men friends feel that I'm seeing how misogynistic they actually are. Because when I was like, from the time I was 10, the first real adult role model that I had was a lesbian feminist, who was my eldest sister. She came out in 1971. So, you know, it's very strange the way people today feel like they say the most horrendous things. And sometimes it gets me down.
What you're
Okay, comments.
You don't want to hear what I got to say.
Go ahead, man.
You know, these are some of the biggest propagandists out here because like when shit's going on, like, because I mean, w- if we had a real tit for tat, like we talk about what party does what party doesn't, who's just wasting time and money and this, that, and the other. Man, like you can't, like the balance beam does not move. You know what I'm saying? And just to try to make one seem better, but I mean, I guarantee you, what they're saying, because I mean, they act like the Democrats didn't have something to do with Roe versus Wade getting changed. No, that was their way of trying to put something against against the GOP, because the Supreme Court just went against what laws, what I'm saying, that govern us. Like, these are laws, and what was right, and this is what was determined, and still being able to allow it in the, pretty much giving it back to the state. You mad that the federal government doesn't want to have the deciding factor over that. They're saying give it up to the states. Okay, that's so bad, but I mean, that's just one thing. But to me, it's like she really said a whole lot of nothing other than just trying to demonize one side over another, where they are both equally complicit in the people getting nothing. Because if you're so powerful and you're so right, why is it back and forth every so many years to give the power to one, or from one to the other? If one was so great, there would only be that one party that would live. You know what I'm saying? It's insane to me, and people who believe this need to check themselves, because it's just another play on your emotions.
Let me read the comment. Facebook user says, "LOL, you heard that? Oh, so the devil is both. Laugh my ass off. My next chick gonna be Mexican. Screw black and white. I'm gonna get
Okay,
something in the middle."
if that's what you got out of that, okay.
It did. Yeah. Facebook user
Hey, but
says,
hey, more
"Go ahead."
power to you. Mhm.
He says, "It's BS how most of those race think America screwed them. Some of them dudes are screwed as well." Shaking my head. Wait, I want to ask you though, Pat. What about the comments that Sarah Silverman said about how, they were talking about this freaking mass migration over the border
They're
crisis?
talking about humans. They're not talking about nature at all.
Yeah.
They're talking about humans coming over the border, and I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you, like, honestly, like, I love people. I mean, and there's some I don't like. I don't care what color you are. Some white people I don't like. Some of them I love. But and that's what any if you want to call them different races, I still see most people just as humans. But either way, the migrations and coming over, like, my thing is that, okay, we continue to spread ourselves thin worldwide, whether the people are here or not, but the tax dollars that they get from us does not get used on us the way that we should. Like, we should be better off individually and in our groups before we start trying to take care of outside entities. So, you know, that's more so where I stand. Like, I mean, because people are constantly dying. I mean, whether you're keeping up with they are allowing the people to keep coming in. It's mostly because a bunch of them are dying. So, I mean, I get it, and I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully, we can be able to build with them better than what we were able to deal with those who's of the past. That's all I hope for. But you know, I think at some point, like, they're trying to have some regulation so that we can, you know, conservatives kind of think like, hey, can we get one thing under control before we start trying to do something else? You know what I'm saying? Like we're you know what I'm saying? And once these people become our responsibility, they're here. You know, we can't shut them down. So here goes another cycle of screw everybody again.
Only God knows. God knows is the name of the show. So, and then I was thinking about it.